All right, in the pro tip of the week, we are going to talk about credit fraud alerting versus freezing. Now, caveat, this is for the United States. I will tell you the things that are in here will be very useful in other countries, but this kind of focus on how the United States and how they do business. From wherever you're at, if it's especially a country that has a relatively solid setup along from a credit standpoint, they'll have something very similar to this. So just kind of research out there what that might be for your area of the globe. So credit fraud alerting and freezing. The personal story on this is that I've been hacked more times than I could even count. And it's nothing because of me, right? My stuff, my credentials, who I am, being former military, is in like 18 bazillion places, right? Well, guess what? The federal government isn't the best for keeping secrets. And it also is one of those things, Snowden, one of those things that you need to ask yourself as well is when it's in so many places, it's just a matter of time before the information gets out. So I decided to research into this going, hey, you know what? I got to protect my stuff. But I also know friends that have had their identity stolen, and it is just no fun at all. And if you're paying any attention to the world, and if you have credit, please, by all means, understand this podcast and also understand this piece because it's extremely valuable for you and your family because you get your fraud, credit. Is it credit? I didn't know it was a credit. If you get credit fraud, it can really just cause you issues. And I talked to my employer about this as well of going, we need to teach our employees these things because if I get an employee that all of a sudden gets hacked and now their credit's just trashed, well, guess what? They're not going to be thinking about business. They're going to be thinking about their credit and how to get things straightened away. So what is credit fraud alerting? It's a de facto public response to a breach. Okay, it's like candy. It's like a placebo. It's like, oh, you've been hacked. Okay, give credit fraud alerting to everybody. Yeah, that's okay. They'll be fine with that. Well, guess what? It's not really that good of an idea. It monitors your credit for fraud, and you can get it for a year. I've got like 5 of them, I think, on my accounts. And, I don't have them all turned on, believe me, because I just freeze it. But the monitoring the credit for fraud, it goes out there and it sets and lets you know if something goofy is going on. Now, you can do this yourself, and there's actually been a couple lawsuits in this with LifeLock along with the actual credit agencies where they have, basically you can go in every 90 days and you can just set it up for credit fraud alerting on yourself, and it'll let you know. And you don't have to have LifeLock come in here and do it for you. Now, there are benefits, I suppose, to having them involved where they're actually looking and keeping an active tab on your site, but realistically, or not site, but on your credit, but realistically, all they're doing is just setting you up with the 90-day thing, and they're just keeping it renewing. So you have to decide, is that worth the $5 a month or whatever you pay for LifeLock? Now, they have other benefits in there as well. I get that. But that's, in a sense, the product that they're trying to do. Is they're just maneuvering something you could do yourself. But who can remember every 90 days to go in and change things? So there's a big 3 credit agencies, Equifax, Experian, and TransUnion. That's in the United States. And I think I'd assume that those actually have some level of global footprint as well. And then there's a 4th called Innovis, Innovis, INNOV, Victor, IS. So India, November, Oscar, Victor, India, Sierra. That's the 4th one. Don't know much about that one, but I think if you just freeze the main 3, that you'll be good to go for that. And I do need to do some more research on Innovis and find out how does that play into all this. But Brian Krebs has actually got a really good stuff out there on that, and you'll have that in the show notes, a link back to his site. Credit monitoring agencies, they basically do what you can do yourself. We talked about that with LifeLock. So you need to consider, is that something you want to invest in or not? But bottom line is they tell you after the fact. So they say, oh, by the way, someone just opened up an account in your name. Oh, someone just opened up another account in your name. Well, I don't know if you're a little like me, but to me, that's just like a little bit too late. So yeah, telling you after the fact, you're still up a creek. So I struggle with the whole credit monitoring piece of this, if you haven't figured that out yet. So there's 3 types of fraud alerts. There's an initial, an extended, and there's one for active duty military members. The initial is if you're worried and you want to put it in place for 90 days. We talked about that. Just 90 days, you're in business, go back every 90 days and update it. The extended is if you're victims that are of identity theft. It's a 7-year score protection. So you have your FICO score. It protects it for 7 years once you've been a victim of identity theft. the part you got to think about is like, oh, that's cool. Well, okay, that's good. However, what ends up happening is that doesn't talk about all the stuff you had to go through to get to that point. That's just crud. Who wants to deal with that? So the goal is not to be part of the extended. That's the goal. Don't be part of the extended part. And then there's active duty military members of people that are deployed. You can protect your credit. So it's a really good option for family members. The last thing you want to deal with from a military standpoint is your wife calling you up saying, our bank account just got cleaned out. So then as the military guy, like your brain is not in the game at all, which is not a good thing to do, especially when you have bullets flying by your head, possibly, or you could make poor decisions that could affect the outcome of world peace. That's just not a good option. So that's a really good thing there, active duty credit monitoring. What is credit freezing? All right, this is little known and promoted by the credit agencies, and the reason is because they get money when they allow people to touch your credit. When you freeze it and no one can get to your credit, they lose money. They're not making as much, I should say. So they charge you for it. They do. They'll actually, when you go to freeze your credit, it'll be, depending on the state you're in, it's anywhere from $5 to $10 per credit agency. And then when you undo it, it's usually $5 to $10 to undo it. But we'll go through some tips and tricks on that one. But basically, it stops any new account from being opened up in your name. So that's the purpose of the credit freezing. So it locks down your credit, requiring a PIN to unlock. Now, they're going to give you a PIN when you get your credit blocked set up, your credit freeze set up. Do not lose the PIN. That's bad mojo if you lose the PIN. So keep it in a safe place, safety deposit box that you can get in and out of in a relatively easy manner. Or if you have LastPass, again, I store a lot in my password manager, a lot. So that's a big, scary thing. Highly recommend you put two-factor on it. Just do it. Just do it. It's easy to accomplish and only needs to unlock one agency. This is something else I learned when I just recently had to get a business loan for my wife's sticker business, that you actually can just need one of them. So Experian, I just went to Experian, used the PIN from Experian, unlocked it, set up a window that the credit or my bank could go and check my credit for like a day and a half to 2 days. It set the window up. My bank hit my credit, goes, oh yeah, you're good. Then it shut the window down. Now nobody could get in. So it's awesome. I love credit freezes. And it really is a huge peace of mind thing. And oh, by the way, Experian, it didn't really cost me anything either, which I thought was kind of cool. Not sure why, but it's cool. So my recommendation is freeze your credit. Just don't be afraid. Just do it. If you have two partners in a family, both of you should do it. My wife and I both have it frozen. It's just, you just got to be careful with that. Consider your kids, especially if they're 16 and above, because guess what? They will go after your kids and their credit. Wait, they don't have credit? Oh, they will. And if they can get their kids' information, they will go after that as well, and they'll ruin the credit for the kids, and now you got to deal with it. And in many cases, you don't even know it's happened until your kids go to get credit going, how come you got all these charges and all these things are in your kids' name? Well, my kid's only 4. Well, I'm sorry, but your kid has a very bad credit score. You know what I'm saying? So definitely freeze your credit on the main family members and people that do have a credit capability, because it's just, they don't need to be opening up credit in their name anyway. So again, consider that. And store your PIN carefully. Safety deposit box, safe, password vault, whatever. But you need to store that in a safe manner. On this pro tip of the week, we're going to kind of roll into one little quick thing about identity thieves and combating them. You know, how do you do it? They're used, basically, you make sure you need to do different passwords for your online banking. Do not reuse passwords for banking accounts. Don't use security questions. Just avoid those if you're banking. If you're storing sensitive data on any media type, encrypt it. Please do that, especially if it's available to other people. And then watch for any small purchases on bank statements. That small purchases are what the bad guys really use. They'll drop a $10 or $20 charge on your credit card, and guess what? You don't even know it. Most people don't look that level of detail. My wife does, but most people do not look to that level of detail of going, where'd this $10 charge come from? Oh, okay, just pay it. So you need to watch that from identity thief standpoint. Again, online banking, make sure your passwords are not the same. Do not reuse them, and make them hard, nasty ones. And the best thing to do is get those passwords from a password manager so you don't have to remember them. Back to Troy Hunt's comments, the only best password is one you cannot remember. Okay, what's it worth to you? Just telling you, just saying. And stay vigilant. Just stay vigilant when it comes to your charges online and your online presence.